Hi guys, it's March, which means I should have already done my February wrap up, but that's why we're here right now. It's to do my February wrap up and to talk about a little bit about what's been going on with me and just a recap of my goals for the year. So, the first book that I started reading this month was Uncle Tom's Cabin by Harriet Beecher Stowe, because as you may or may not know, February is Black History Month, and this was on the like a list that I had Googled to read, and it's one that I wanted to read anyway. So I got about halfway through and had to abandon. I'm not a huge fan of Stowe's writing. The writing was really good, but the thing that I don't like about it was that she would start talking about one subject and kind of go off on a little side story, and that is one of my biggest pet peeves in writing, because it makes you get distracted, it makes the story go somewhere else, and then comes right back to where it started. That just really annoys me. I do plan on finishing this because it is well written and I do like it, and I'm dying to know what happens to the characters, but I did kind of have to set it aside and move on to other things because it was just kind of dragging for me and taking me a little bit longer than I wanted to read it. So I wanted to get, I wanted to move on to my next book. The second book that I read for the month of February is The Fault in Our Stars by John Green. I know I should have read this a long time ago. This was sent to me by Whitney, which is Books Are Love X3 here on YouTube. It's signed. It was amazing for her to do that. I'll link her below. She's on my collab. She's an awesome person. So yeah, I read this book, and it's one of those books that was so hyped I was kind of scared to read it, because I was like, is it going to be as good as everyone says? That's one of the reasons I don't read a lot of popular books right away, because I'm worried that they're not going to live up to that expectation, but this one exceeded. It went above and beyond. It's definitely a 5-star book. It was very emotional, totally different than what I thought it was going to be. Just a really overall great book. I don't even know the word I'm looking for, but I definitely recommend it if you haven't read it, or if you've been kind of hanging back, worried about it being too sad. It's not so sad that you're never going to recover from it or anything, but it is emotional, but it's really worth it. It's great. Probably one of my favorite John Green books so far, and I heard a rumor that they might make it into a movie. Just saying, it's a rumor. The next book I read was The Monsters of Templeton by Lauren Groff. This is a book that I got for Christmas. It's basically about a town and the secrets in the town, specifically about one girl whose name is Willie Upton and her mother, who is kind of a hippie, and the secrets that they have and how she has a connection to this town. And there's a monster in this lake that dies and washes up. I don't know. I just thought it was really good. There's a mystery with the monster. What is it? Where did it come from? How long has it been there? There's love, which I'm not a huge romance fan, but the story makes up for it. I would give this about 3.5 to 4 stars, because it's definitely not one of my favorite books, but it was a really good read, and I'm glad that I read it. One of the other books that I read this month is Anna and the French Kiss by Stephanie Perkins. I read this for Bookish Friends, our monthly challenge that we have. It was cheesy romance. I give this one 5 stars. It was really good. John Green even talked about how good it was in one of his videos. So yeah, I just found it really honest, really cute, not over the top romantic. Like, I hate romance. So I didn't find it awkward or anything. Just thought it was a really good book. Like I said, 5 stars. Glad I read it. I'm actually going to read the companion novel, which says a lot for somebody who doesn't even like romance books. So I'm going to read the companion, which is Lola and the Boy Next Door. I really enjoyed this author's writing style, and I hope that she's written more than just like teenage romance books. If she hasn't, that's okay. I'm still going to read them. That's how much I liked her writing. I just found it really fresh and contemporary. Just loved everything about this book, and it was a quick read. So I also read, I know there's a terrible glare, I also read The Name of the Star by Maureen Johnson. I would probably give this book 2 or 3 stars. Not a huge fan of the writing style, but the story was good. I don't know. This is a lot like Anna and the French Kiss. It's about a girl who goes off to boarding school. I don't know, it was kind of like Anna and the French Kiss was like a color motion picture, and this is kind of like an old black and white movie. I don't know, I know that probably doesn't make sense, but that's how it felt to me, comparing the settings. And the only reason I'm comparing the 2 books is because it's about a girl who goes off to boarding school. Other than that, there's really nothing that they had in common, but Other than that, there's really nothing they had in common, so I shouldn't even be comparing the two. I think this book for me was just a bad timing issue. I think I really wasn't, since I had just come off Anna and the French Kiss and I'm picking up this book, I don't know. I'm having such a hard time explaining what I mean, but it was still a good book. It just wasn't the best thing that I read. But it was still really good. I'm still glad that I read it. The end really made up for a lot. Trying to find the killer and how the main character, I forgot her name already, how the main character was involved and what happens at the end was shocking. So I am planning on reading the sequel, but I won't be like beating people up in line to get the book. So, but it is good, and I do plan on reading the second one to see what happens. I don't know if writing style was just not, I don't know. I feel bad even making a judgment on it. Like, I feel like I should give it a few more days before I make a call on it. But, meh. 3 stars, I would say. Also, guys, I've been trying to do a little bit more detailed of reviews on my GoodReads. So if you want to go over there and see like little updates that I give and stuff, check out my GoodReads. I'm Girl Gone Bookish over there as well, and maybe that will explain what I'm talking about a little bit better if you have trouble following me in videos, because sometimes I have trouble with following myself. So anyway, the last book that I read for the month of February was The Diviners by Leva Bray. I loved this book. This wasn't the last book that I read in the month, but it was, I think it might have been next to last. But this was a huge book. Let's see how many pages are in it. You all know how large it is. A lot of you all have read it. And at first, there's 578 pages. So at first I was a little intimidated by the size. I was worried I wasn't going to get it finished. But I read this in like 3 or 4 days. Almost whacked myself in the head. So I did read it pretty quickly. It's because I couldn't put it down. It just gets you from the very beginning. I love the setting. New York in the 1920s. It was glamorous for the most part, if it wasn't for the killer. Just really interesting, really unique. I feel like a lot of work went into making this novel and coming up with all of the ideas. It was just really different. The writing was amazing. I love her writing style. I say too much. I need to not do that. But definitely one of my favorite books for the month. I would probably do a book talk on this, which is where instead of reviewing a book, I talk about it and tell you the things I like. I would probably do it on this book. However, I feel like so many people have read it. I'm probably not going to do that. But it's definitely worthy of a book talk. So, yeah, it's just really great. If you haven't read it, don't be intimidated by the size, because it actually reads a lot faster than I thought it was going to. I was reading, 500 pages. I was reading over 100 pages a day, which that's actually not that much now that I think about it. But it read really fast, and it keeps you entertained. I found myself staying up late at night just to read a little bit more because, you wanted to get to the next part to see what was going to happen. So yeah, I definitely recommend it. And if you haven't read it because you're scared of the size, don't let it bother you. It reads really quickly and it keeps you entertained. So these are the books. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I read only 5 books this month, and one half of the other one I had to put aside. So 5 books this month. That's not terrible. It's just not as good as I normally do. But, it's been a kind of weird month for me. So anyway, my goals for this year, let's just do a quick update. I have read 15 books. No. I have read 17 books, and by the time you see that, I'll have read 18 books out of my 78. I have read 4 of my big books for my big book challenge. I've read 1 out of 10 classic books. I've read 2 nonfiction books and no autobiographies. So that was my goal, was to read 2 nonfiction and 1 autobiography. So I still need to read an autobiography. And I still need to read about 16 or so books with 400 pages or more. I was crazy when I made that one. But yeah, I'm doing really good on my reading goals. Writing, I haven't done as good on. So I really need to concentrate on my writing in the coming months, because I have an idea in my head that I want to use for my NaNoWriMo this year. I might even do Camp NaNoWriMo. If you are going to do that, let me know, because I would like to make some friends and, follow everybody like we did for November. So yeah, that's what I have going on. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions or want to see reviews or anything like that on any of these books, let me know and I'll try to do a video. Or like I said, you can head over to my GoodReads. I'm also going to try to start a blog because I think blogging and doing book reviews that way is really important to me, because then I can work on my writing and, you know, tell you all about these awesome books. So I will let you know when that happens, because lacking on that. So yeah, I hope you all had a great reading month, and I will see you guys later. Bye.